because you really haven't voiced what you expect of them. And so about a couple weeks ago, some unexpected rules came up. And I was like, what the what? For real? I'm like, seriously? For real? And it was so funny because I shared with the ones with counseling, and I said, you know, I thought I knew everything, but some unexpected stuff came up. God began to reveal some stuff, and I was like, God, what's really going on here? And God said, before you can take somebody else deeper, you got to go deeper yourself. So before I can reveal something to you to get to somebody else, I got to first reveal it in you. So you can't take somebody somewhere you ain't never been. You can't talk about something you have no clue about. You know, book knowledge is good. I can read about it all day long, but baby, until you experience it, until you experience that thing, you can't bring nobody else out of nothing. You can't witness to somebody you never known. You can't take somewhere you've never gone. If I've never been to New York, I can't tell somebody how to get there. And if I've only been there once, it was so funny. I asked Pastor yesterday, I said, baby, how to get to Knox Chapel? He said, I think you. I said, oh, Lord. But before that, I had Minister Walton had called me, and she said, anything you need? I said, no, I'm good. I said, but I need to follow you. And she said, well, it's been so long since I've been, I really don't know one. But I said, oh, Lord. I said, oh, my God. So after that, I asked Pastor, and he was like, I know the way, but I really can't tell you. And I'm like, oh, my God. He was like, won't you call Sister Beckles? I said, okay, I'll do that. But then I walked out the house, and I left my phone. And I didn't have time to go back and get it. And so I had to begin to rely on the Lord. I said, Lord, you got to show us where we're going. Even though it was an easy journey, even though we've been there before, but because we don't go there often, we had forgot. So what you're saying, baby, if you don't stay in this word often, if you don't get in your word on a daily basis, you're not going to be able to tell nobody nothing about Jesus Christ. You're going to be stumbling around. I think you're supposed to go here, or I think you're supposed to do that. Baby, you need to shut up and sit down somewhere and go get back in the word of God. You've got to learn whatever it is you're going through. God got a reason and a purpose for your pain. Romans 15, 1 through 2 says, we then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please, lost my paper, his neighbor for his good to edification. We that are strong. And God began to break this thing down. We that are strong, we that have already been through it. Like I say, you can't take nobody somewhere you ain't never been. So we that have already been through the struggle. Baby, if I'm not married, I can't go and tell a married woman how to treat her husband. Single women, married women, stop going talking to your single girlfriends about your mate. If they've never been married, ain't a thing they can tell you. Brothers, stop running to your friends that ain't married, or stop running to your friends that ain't in the church, and they running around on their wives, and you going to them for advice. Baby, they can't tell you nothing. If you got to go to somebody that's in the same boat that you're in, you can't help somebody if you ain't been through it. So we that are strong, we that have been through situations. If I ain't been, I had a person come to me one time, and her husband was cheating on her, and she was going through a divorce, and I could give her what the word says, and I said, I'm going to tell you what the word says, but let me refer you to somebody that's been through it. See, my testimony ain't going to be effective to her because I'm not there yet. I haven't been through that. I haven't experienced that. But God will always put somebody in your path that has experience. So we've got to learn that, baby, you don't know it all. You ain't got all the answers. Sometimes you got to refer them to somebody else. I had a client, tax client, that came to me and said, I work for airlines and I've got some stewards, whatever that pay is for airline attendants, and there's some different rules for it. Can you do that? And I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to have to refer you to somebody else. See, sometimes we get greedy. And we try to do it all ourselves, and we mess some folk up. See, you trying to tell somebody about their marriage, and you ain't never been married. You finna mess some folks up. You trying to tell somebody how to stay straight and get off alcohol, and you ain't never drank alcohol. You finna mess some folks up. You trying to tell somebody how to do something to raise their children, and your children going buck wild. You finna mess somebody up. Honey, if you don't have the answer to it, learn to refer them to somebody else. We got to learn. We went through everything. I ain't went through everything when we were first called here. God called me on my job. I was like, God, why now? He said, because I've got some single women. I've got some mothers in the home, and they're going to be struggling financially. And when they look at you and you tell them that they can make it, they're going to look at you and say, yeah, you can make it because you got two incomes coming into your house. But if I take one of them away, when you tell them, baby, all you got to do is stand on the word of God, bring your tithes and offerings into the storehouse of God, and God will provide everything you need, baby, because you've experienced it. Now they can listen to you and they can relate to you. So those that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak. Bear the infirmities of the weak. Let every one of us please his neighbor. It didn't say nothing about pleasing yourself. See, that's why we get in trouble too, because it's all about me, mine, and mine. If you ain't in my clique, it ain't got nothing to do with you. This mine. This my money. I made this. This my room. This mine. God said, you ain't got nothing. Everything you got, it's on loan, and it's going back one day because you didn't come here to stay. He said, see, so that you can please. It's for the edification of your neighbor. Everything you go through is not for you only. It's to build you up. And it's to strengthen you. But it's to bring somebody else out. He says this day, the thief asked him, he said, Lord, when you come into your kingdom, verily, remember me. Jesus said, verily I say unto you, today. See, we got power to bring people out today. But you know why we can't do it? Because we don't operate in that power. We don't operate in that power. We've got the power to bring others out. But because we're so selfish, we'll hold our testimonies. God done been good to you. I ain't telling nobody nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. God will let you know when to share it. But many of us, when God say speak, I'm a living witness. Keep on. Keep on holding your mouth shut. Keep on. Remember, I told you in January how our souls, our bodies represents what our soul is going through. Our bodies is a representation. In other words, when your soul is in mourning, your body begins to mourn for a whole week. a couple of weeks ago, I was taking pain pills because my back was killing me because I was holding so much stuff. God had told me to speak, and I was holding it on the inside. I was going to be big and bad, and I ain't saying nothing else to nobody else, Lord. God said, okay, you be big and bad, and you going to hurt as long as you being big and bad. And just as soon as I began to release all that stuff, God began to heal me. God began to take the pain away. Baby, you go through so somebody else can go through. So when God tells you, okay, when God speaks to you on your job and say you need to speak to that coworker, or you need to tell that coworker what you've been through, baby, it's an opportunity for you to witness to God and to bring them out. We've got the power to bring them out. So you've got to learn how to minister through your misery. You got to learn how to go when you don't want to go. You got to learn how to press your way, because it's not for you only. It's to bring somebody else out. Because had not Jesus been on the cross, had not he gone to the cross and died for us, this thief wouldn't have got saved. And can I let you in on something else? We wouldn't have been saved. Jesus went for us. He had did nothing wrong. There was no wrong. There was no wrong in him. There was nothing that he had done that he deserved to be whipped all night long. There was nothing that he had done that he deserved to be nailed in his hands and his feet. There was nothing that he had done that he deserved a crown of thorns. And when I say a crown of thorns, these ain't the rosebush thorns. This was nails. And they didn't just place it on his head. They pressed it on his hand. Now, how many of y'all done got a whooping before? So y'all know what it feels like, right? Okay. Let's just magnify it a little bit. See, Jesus wasn't whooped with a switch. It was a leather strap. And on the end of this strap, it had little bits of pieces of glass. And so every time he got a lash, it pulled skin out. Every time, that's why it says that when they saw him, he was unrecognizable. Because he had been beaten all night, 39 lashes. Can you imagine? You know how it felt when we was getting whooped with the switches, but can you imagine if you're getting whooped with a leather belt, and on the end of this, it's got the glass on the end. So all night long, he took a beating for us. And they didn't stop there, because now he's weak. Now he's weak, and he had to carry his cross. He was so weak that when he fell down, they got a man by the name of Simon Serene. That was a black man, y'all. So they got a man by the name of Simon to carry his cross, to help him carry his cross. Can I let you know a little secret? When you get weak, God will send somebody to come and help you carry your cross. When you get down to your lowest end, God will send somebody to give you a little encouragement. When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, it says while he was praying, he prayed until drops of light, his sweat was like drops of blood. But God sent the angels to minister to him. Baby, God said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. So while you're going through, even when you get to the weakest of weak, God will send somebody by to help you carry your cross. So they got him up the hill. They stretched him wide. They nailed nails in his hands. And when we say hands, I'm not talking about the hand. It was the wrist. They nailed him in the risk. Can you imagine being nailed in your wrist? When I hit my elbow, it hurts. But can you imagine a nail going through your wrist? All his weight on his wrist. They nailed him in the feet. I got up yesterday morning and had some pain, didn't know where it was coming from in my feet, had a limp. I limped to Knox Chapel, and I limped back home, and I limped all day, and I limped this morning, and there were certain ways I would put pressure on it, and a pain would go through my feet. So can you imagine being nailed in your feet? Then they placed this crown on his head, and that wasn't all. They mocked him. They talked about him. They laughed at him. You say you the king of the kings. You say you the king of the Jews. Why don't you save yourself and save us too? That's what the other thief said. If you be who you are, if you be who you are. And I like it because Jesus didn't say a word. We got to learn how to be quiet. Sometimes we ain't got to say a word. Just learn how to be quiet. It says, Jesus, he was dying, but in the midst of dying, he saved this thief. And then it says that from the 6th to the 9th hour, about 12 noon, it got completely dark. Got completely dark. And this was a sign that this was the Messiah. Y'all messing with the wrong one. But see, the enemy thought he had him. It says that he gave up his spirit. Usually, when people died of crucifixion, it would take days. That's why they did crucifixion, because it was a death of suffering. It was a suffering death. It wasn't something immediate. They didn't die immediately. They died 3 or 4 days later, 2 or 3 days later, and they died because the weight of their bodies came down, and they couldn't gasp for air, so their lungs began to collapse, and every organ in their body began to dysfunction and to go out. And so it was a horrible death. But it says that Jesus, in the 6th to 9th hour, it says that he died. He gave up the ghost. They would come by and they would break the soldier, whoever was on the cross, they would break their legs to help the process. Because if the legs was broken, now they had no strength, so all the weight was going down. But when they got to Jesus, it said that he was already dead. And so they said, there's no need for us to break his legs, but what we're going to do to make sure he's dead, we're going to pierce him in the side. We're going to pierce him in the side, and it says that blood and water came streaming down. See, that's where the nothing but the blood comes from. It was the blood and the water, because see, when you die, the blood and the water begins to separate. And so that was a sign that he was dead. And Satan thought he had him. But what he failed to realize is that Jesus said, if I be lifted up above the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. See, Satan think he got you. Satan think he got you. Satan think he done counted you out. But he just don't realize that on the 3rd day morning, Jesus got up with all power. And when he got up, before he got up, it says that he went to hell and he set the captives free. And when he got up, he said, all power is in my hands. And the power that I have now, I give it to you. So, baby, when you get up out of your situation, you're able to set the captives free. So if there's somebody here today and you're going through and you just need some help to carry your cross. If there's somebody here and you're not covered yet. In other words, you haven't accepted him as the Lord of your life, and you haven't said, Lord, I surrender my will to yours. Help me. Come into my heart now. I believe that you are indeed the Son of God. I believe that you died for my sins. I believe that you rose on the third day morning. We invite you to come to the altar now. Come and let us introduce you to
bring me back to you. Alone in me. Because I've seen you work in others, and I want you to work in me. I've seen you work in others. I've seen you working on the Lord, and I want you to work in me. Anybody feel like I feel? I've seen you work.